Welcome back to the Dragon's Library. Today I'm going to be covering what I read this week, which is the prologue to chapter 13 of The Lord of Chaos. And if you'd like more fantasy and sci fi videos in your life, hit the sub button and the notification bell down below. Get notified whenever I post new videos. Comment and tell me your favorite fantasy books down below, and I'll respond to all your comments. Okay, now I'm gonna be giving summaries of all the prologue through all the chapters I went through, and then we're gonna be talking about some predictions and stuff I've made for stuff that's gonna happen in the second half of the book. And then next week, I'm gonna come back, talk about what I read that week, and then see what predictions paid off, what predictions did not for the Lord of Chaos. So I made it through chapters 1 to 13, or sorry, the prologue through 13. So I'm going to start with the summaries. So in the prologue, we start by meeting Demondred and Shao Ghul, and we kind of learn how the Murdril and the Trollocs and stuff come from and all that kind of stuff, at least partially. Then next we jumped in Nynaeve, and she's getting familiar with the Aes Sedai camp that they made it to. And then we jump down to Elaine and Brigitta and Min. So Elaine, Brigitta, and Min. Min is getting sent off by Elaine to deliver a letter to Rand, who's in Camelin. And then Elaine and Brigitta have some friction between arguments and stuff about what's going on. Next, we go to Fael and Perrin becoming lords of the Two Rivers, and we see the aftermath of the Trallic Wars. We learn about all the people that died, and then we also see how they're repairing stuff and how the people have come to rever Perrin and Fael. Next, we go to Gawain Trikand, and then this is kind of like the White Cloak's perspective, the bottom end of the White Cloaks, the soldier's perspective. And we kind of just learn how he's learning stuff via the White Cloak's librarian, trying to find his brother and Elaine. Then, after Gawain, we jump to the treaty between the Aes Sedai and the Shido Aiel, where we just kind of see how the White Tower, or well, the Aes Sedai in control of the White Tower, are planning against Rand. After them, we jump to, reading Morghese is imprisoned by the White Cloaks after she ran away from Camelin Castle because the one of the Forsaken had control of it before Rand killed him. She ended up kind of making a deal with Pager Nile, but now she's kind of his captive until they go to take Camelin from Rand. After that, we jump to Pager Nile, the White Cloak leader, and we kind of see some of the high end White Cloak information and hear of rumors and stuff that are going throughout the world. At least some of the more reliable rumors. So it might be stuff we've heard, it might be stuff we haven't from other perspectives. And then at the end of the prologue, we jump to Masana, one of the Forsaken, and we kind of see her torturing some people in Shal Ghul, learning a bit more about the Forsaken. And then after that, we jump to chapters 1 through 4, where we kind of are seeing how Rand is dealing with all the people that he's brought with him, the Kyrians, and he's dealing with all these lords and trying to figure out how he's gonna make Camelin stable because he wants Morghese and or Elaine to be able to come back and take it and Camelin still be in a good position. And then Mazrim time comes in, and then Rand kind of has Mazrim time start gathering men that can channel so he can build an army for when the Dark One comes. And then for chapter 5, we are seeing Matt kind of trying to act like a normal dude, even though he's the leader of an army. He's just dancing and stuff in taverns and doing his normal rounds. He saves a kid from some people. And then towards the end of the chapter, him and his army are setting off towards Tyr, and and I have yet to see what's going to happen there yet. So we will learn about him some more next week. Next, we jump to another Forsaken, or well, a group of Forsaken, Demondred and Samael. And we kind of learn how they're planning against Rand and what they think of some of the other Forsaken and what they think has happened to some of the other Forsaken. And in chapter 7, we are in Teleron Riyadh, and we're kind of seeing the Aes Sedai, Elaine, and Nynaeve going through Teleron Riyadh. And they go to the White Tower and try and see what Elida has, so see some of the information she has in her letterbox and stuff. And then after that, one of them kind of gets whisked away because they accidentally thought of something they shouldn't have. And then the other Aes Sedai, Elaine, Nynaeve, attempt to go save her, and the other Aes Sedai and stuff get dragged in to the illusion, and then Elaine and Nynaeve kind of have to go in and save them, and they all nearly die, kind of showing us just how dangerous Teleron Riyadh can be once again. Because this is not the first time that they've been in danger, but you could definitely see how close a few of them were to dying. Like, can't remember if it was Elaine or Nynaeve, but one of them got a gash across their neck because their neck almost got cut off by a Trolloc axe. After chapter 7, I started taking more in depth notes, so I'm going to be going a bit deeper into detail for these chapters. So, at the start of chapter 8, Nynaeve is having an internal conflict about Lan because Moraine sacrificed herself to kill Lanfear, so Lan ran off with Rand. A bit later in the chapter, Logain shows up and explains that the red turned him into a false dragon, and then the Aes Sedai want to spread the rumor to the upper class about this happening so they can gain support to get back the White Tower. Sawan Sanshe is pretty much Gareth Bryn's maid at this point. She was the previous Amerlin, but they did some stupid stuff in a town when they were trying to make it down to the Aes Sedai camp in Sidar. The Aes Sedai later in the chapter probe Nynaeve and Egwene about Matt, Perrin, and Rand, try to get more information about them and what they've already told, see if they were hiding anything. After that, we are jumping into chapter 9, where we kind of get to see Pedro Nile, the leader of the White Cloaks, again, and his thoughts on Rand's army, and learn some information about their numbers and stuff. I predict that when Rand, or well, I predict that Rand is probably going to attack Ilion before the end of the book. So I think that the White Cloaks are going to intervene on Rand's attack to Ilion, but I'll talk more about those at the end. We see that Queen Mergaze is still trapped in the White Cloak's base. Adrian Nile is trying to capture Elaine and Gawain because Galad is a white cloak. And then we jump back to Rand in the next chapter. And then there was a quote that I liked in that chapter: "Duty is heavier than a mountain, death is lighter than a feather," on page 275 from Rand. Rand kind of learns about what happened in the Two Rivers and how Perrin saved everybody because he meets some of the Two Rivers girls when he goes to a tavern to meet two Aes Sedai. He learns that they were originally going to head to Tarvalon, but then they heard about the rumors that the tower had split and kind of learned of that situation. So they decided against going to the tower relatively recently. Rand and the two sisters go into a private room to have a conversation. One of the two sisters says they won't harm him, then they touch his hand. And then Alana, the sister that touched his hand, bonds him as a warder. So now Rand is in a very much of a pickle. So we have to see if he'll be able to break that by the end of the book. Next, we jump to chapter 11. We are back in Rand's perspective. The main thing I wrote down for chapter 11 was that Mazarim Time got permission from Rand to go to village to try and recruit men for channeling rather than the method of just waiting for people to come to Camelin to try and speed up the process. Now we jump to chapter 12. In chapter 12, at the very start, Elida's envoy arrives, which is the black sister slash red sister that's holding the Amaryllis seat in the tower right now. Mogadine, the trapped Forsaken by Elaine and Nynaeve, tries convincing Nynaeve for them to go to Camelin. I forgot to mention this earlier, but Birgitta is with Elaine and Nynaeve at the Aes Sedai camp taking care of some refugee children that they brought with them. In chapter 13, we focus mainly on just Nynaeve. At the very start, she tries to figure out her block. A block is a state of mind or behavior that makes it hard for a channeler to channel without having extra means to channel. For her, that is that she has to be extremely angry to channel. Or there's another character, her teacher. She had to be around somebody she either romantically liked or romantically hated to be able to channel until she broke her block by the Aes Sedai tricking her into thinking a specific person was there who actually was not. And then later in the chapter, we learn what happened between the envoy and the Aes Sedai. We learned that the Aes Sedai and Sidar told them we need more time for this decision. They weren't just going to go back to the tower because they said, hey, we'll forgive all your crimes. And then at the very, very end of the chapter, Elaine and Nynaeve both go into Teleron Riyadh again and try to find something that will help them persuade the Aes Sedai to help Rand. They learn of some Angrials, Angrials and Sarangrials in Ibudar, which is a few hundred miles down the river. And so, as far as I can tell, they're going to be planning to leave for that very soon. So, that is the end of the summaries for what I have read through. Now, we're going to get into some of my predictions here in a moment. Okay, we are back, and I am ready to talk about my predictions now. So for my predictions, I'm first gonna go ahead and give you guys a rough showcase of where everybody's at so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Okay, so for this, we know that Matt is leaving from right around Arengale and he is heading to Tyr. This is Matt. Aaron is over in Edmondsfield still. Keep in mind, I suck at this. That's Perrin over. Where's Camelin on here? My blind as a bat. Okay, Rand is in Camelin. This is Rand. We know that the Aes Sedai, Nynaeve and Egwene are here. I'm just gonna write Nynaeve. And then Samael is here. This is I'm just gonna call him Sam for short here. And then where is Ibudar? It might not be on here. Okay, here's Ibudar. So Nynaeve, Egwene, and Birgitta are heading here. And then as far as we know, Perrin's not going anywhere right this second. So we're gonna start with my first prediction now. So I think Matt and his army and Rand and his army are both gonna attack Ilion. If I had to take a guess, the girls are also probably gonna end up meeting him in Ilion after they get the Angrials. There's a chance the Aes Sedai do. I don't think they're going to, though. Over here in Amador, this is the White Cloaks' home and where Mergaze is at. I think they're also gonna end up intervening in the Ilion fight. I think the Sa Angreal is probably going to end up playing a major role in the Ilion fight. I think the Ilion fight's going to take place before the end of the book, and if it doesn't, well, then all my predictions are kind of out the window. I think Rand has a high probability to get an assassination attempted on him before the end of the book based on some things said by Pedro Nile earlier, which was here. So this is a rough idea of my predictions, and then I will come back next week and we'll kind of see if any of my predictions have panned out. I don't think the Aes Sedai are gonna be participating. I think they might chase after the girls. So the Aes Sedai might go to Ibudar, but I don't think they're gonna make it to Ilion and intervene in that fight. But if I had to take a guess, the Sa'angreal or Terangreal that they're gonna be getting in Ibudar, I would imagine is probably gonna play a role in killing Samael and Ilion. Hey guys, so this is the end of the video. If you guys liked this video, please hit the subscribe notification bell. And I'm gonna go ahead and put another video up here that's some more of my unfiltered thoughts, though it's a bit less edited because it was my first video. Talk to you guys later. Bye.